Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Django REST framework. Okay, so in a Django REST framework, we use something known as API. Okay, so API is nothing but a it is known as application programming interface. Okay, so an API is a software intermediary that allows two or more applications to talk to each other. Okay, so when two or more applications needs to talk to each other, then we use this API. Okay, so for that we will first of all start. Okay, so I'll explain as I make this project. Okay, so let me go and make new project. So let's say Django REST framework. I'll just write it as a DRF. Okay, so after that I'm going to go over here, so more options, and I'll just do open with code. Okay, so after that what you need to do is go over here and make the project. Okay, so you know the project. So in this video I'll also create the virtual environment also. Okay, so we'll also create the virtual environment. So for that I need to write, you already know, right? Python minus m bnb my env. Okay, so this will take few seconds for this to work. Okay, so in the Django REST framework we will use something known as REST API. Okay, so REST API is nothing but a way to talk to your database or any software with the help of HTTP. Okay, so in HTTP we use get, post, put, update or patch. Okay, so these kinds of commands are used in order to retrieve the information. Okay, so my virtual environment is also ready, so let me create now, let me activate that virtual environment. So I'll write my env scripts and activate. So after activating I will do pip install Django. Okay, so we will use something known as REST framework over here. Okay, so after that we will install the Django over here. So we will explain all the things, this JSON response, JSON renderer, as we code along. Okay, so as we keep coding I'll also explain what does that thing mean. Okay, so it is taking quite some time. Okay, after the completion of this, now I'll just write Django admin, let's say start project. My name of the project will be project itself. Okay, so Django, not Django, I need to go inside the project. I will do python manage.py start app, and the name of the app is going to be app. Okay, so after that you need to go inside the project, inside over here, go to settings.py, and in install app you need to register that app. Okay, so app. After that what you need to do is, let's do only migrate. Okay, so I'll just do python manage.py and I'll do migrate. Okay, okay, I did migrate also. So after that what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to install the REST framework. Okay, so Django REST framework is what we are going to work today. So I am going to download the REST framework. Okay, so for that what you need to install is pip install Django REST framework. Okay, so type framework, then it will install all the things that are required. Okay, so after installing this thing, you need to go to the settings.py. In installed apps, you also need to register that app. Okay, so that is going to be REST. You need to write in installed app REST framework. Okay, so after doing this thing, now you need to go to the models. Okay, so let me create the models first. So in the model, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a class which I'm going to name it as student, and this is going to be models dot model. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to make is name models dot character field, and max length, let's say 50. And the second thing, I'm going to provide it as a roll number. Okay, so models dot integer field, and in the and the third attribute I'm going to provide is city. So this is going to be models dot this will be my character field, ld character field, and max length is going to be 100. Okay, so after doing this, what I'm going to do is I need to carry out the two step. That the first step is make migrations. So manage.py make migrations. Then you know what to do next. Then you need to do python manage.py migrate. Okay, this should not be the problem if you have followed my previous videos also. Okay, so after doing this, we need to create, now let's create a super user. Okay, so for that, python manage.py create super user. Okay, so I'll give my name, you can provide any email address. Okay, this need not to be valid, so I'm providing the password as Mohan only. So okay, that's good. Now I'll open Django administration. Okay, now let me go to the Django administration. Okay, first of all I need to do python manage.py run server. Okay, after running the server, I need to click on this one, so I click it. So I need to go to over here. So over here I'll just type plus admin. Over here I need to provide the username, that's Mohan, and the password, that is also Mohan. Okay, so over here you cannot see that model. Okay, so for that what you need to do is just go to admin.py. Okay, so go to admin.py and just do admin.register and your model name. Okay, so the model name was student, I guess. So the model name is student. So what you need to do here is from .models import student. Okay, so after this what you need to do is make one class, so that will be named as student admin. and this will come from model admin. Okay, admin.model admin. After this you need to do list display, and in the list display I want to show the ID, I want to show the name, I want to show the roll number and the roll number. Okay, so these four things that I want to show in my that I need to show in my database, but there is no email. Okay, so in place of email I'll just provide the city. Okay, so if I go back and if I now refresh and go over here students, there is no any records over here. Now I'm going to add some students. Okay, so let me add David, roll number 12. So let's say the city is California. We go over here, save and add another. So let's say Josh. Let's say roll number is 23. City is New York. Okay, so New York. So then add another. So the another is Lisha. Okay, so let's say her is 1. So her city is, let's say, Baltimore. 7 add, let's say next is Mohan, let's say roll number 4, and the city, let's say Kathmandu, and the other one is Adam. Let's say the roll number will be 22. Let's say the city is Nairobi. Okay, after that let me add one. Okay, so let's add as Krishna, as 11, and the city I'll give it as Delhi. Okay, so save. Let's do save only. Okay, so in this case I'll only do save. So I have added this bunch of data over here. Okay, so this data now we need to create one file. Okay, so first of all what you need to do is you need to create a file over there. So go to your over here, and inside your app you need to create a file known as serializer.py. Okay, so serializer, in serializer.py what you basically do is you convert the complex data types. Okay, so complex data types means query set or model instances. Okay, so these are converted to the native Python data types. Okay, so this is known as serialization. This process is known as converting this complex data type to the native Python data type is known as serialization. Okay, so first of all we need to create the serializer serialization. For serialization we need to convert one file serializer.py. Okay, so after that what you need to do is over here what you need to do is from REST framework you need to import what is known as serializers. Okay, after that what you can do is class student serializer, and the thing that will use it as serializers model we have seen it is similar to that. Okay, serializer. Okay, so serializer. After that what you do is go to models.py. Okay, so copy all these things, just copy it, control C, and just paste it in. serializers.py. okay, so in place of models.py, if you hit control and D, it will select all of this. okay, so it has selected all of this. So after that, what I will do is write the serializers dot character field. okay, so after doing this, what we can do now is, let's say, serializers ser uh, serializers. That's good, that's good, I guess, and that's okay. So over here I'll also create the Django form. okay, from Django import forms. okay, so I'll also, if I, in case I'll need it, I'll also use that forms also. So class for forms, what you need to do is student forms dot form, and name is going to be forms dot field. You can just do copy and paste, but I'm writing it. okay, next field is going to be 100. What was the above? It's a 50 only. Let's give it as 50, and roll number is going to be forms dot integer field. okay, city is going to be forms dot, this is car field. Let's say the maximum length is 100 over at the above, so I'm also going to say 100 at this. After making the serializers and adding bunch of codes in serializer, you need to go to the views.py, and in views.py you need to import that model. So for importing that model, what you need to do is from that models import student. We have seen this many times. okay, from now what you need to do is from serializers we need to import what we know as student serializer. okay, after that what you need to do is, let's go above serializer only. okay, so from that serializer import student serializer. okay, so after that what you need to do is make one class. This is view. okay, so we are going to use function based view. okay, so first of all we need to, let's say this is going to give you student detail. The first thing that will take is request. okay, so at the request what you need to do is, let's say stu is equal to student dot objects dot get, let's say id is equal to 1. okay, so this is a complex object. okay, so we need to do a serializer. okay, so serializer will convert into the native Python. okay, so for that what you need to do is student serializer and you need to pass that complex object. okay, that is stu, and you also need to convert that serializer to the JSON data. okay, so for so your app is providing some other app for data. okay, so to provide the data to the other app you need to convert first that data into the JSON format, then only send it to the other app. okay, so for that what you need to do is just type JSON data, and there is something known as JSON renderer. okay, so renderer dot render, and the thing is serializer dot data. okay, so this serializer dot data will convert into the Python dictionary. okay, so this is used for converting into Python dictionary. So after that what you need to do is over here you need to from rest framework dot renderers, you need to import JSON renderer. Okay, so renderer. Okay, so after that what you need to do is you need to, now you have the JSON data, then you just return it. Okay, so let's say http response. For http response also you need to import something, that is django.http import http response. Okay, so for that http response. Okay, so the first thing you provide here is the JSON data, and then you need also type content. Type is application slash JSON. Okay, so this also you need to do. Okay, over here I want to show you one picture. Okay, so that this whole process will become the clear. Okay, so for that what we have done is we have just created this model. Okay, so that is name, roll number and city. Okay, so all these rows are known as model object. Okay, so these are the model objects, and what we have done first is we have created this model object. Okay, so in this views.py, so I have this stu object. Okay, so this is known as complex complex object. Okay, so the next thing is so you need to convert it to the Python dictionary. Okay, so for converting into Python dictionary, so what you do is serializer is student serializer, and you provide it that thing. Okay, stu, and in JSON data what you need to do is you need to import this JSON renderer dot render and provide that serializer dot data. Okay, so serializer dot data, now we are getting this JSON file and we are just doing the http response. Okay, so you need to provide this content type also over here. Okay, I hope you understand this process. Okay, so you can remember this process. Okay, if you remember this process then it will be useful in future also. Okay, so if this much things is now clear, then we may move forward. So after that what I need to do is go to urls, and I need to create the urls pattern. Okay, so the rest thing are easy. So I'll go to the urls.py, and what I'll do is I'll just import. Okay, so from, let's say from app import, I'll just do import views. Okay, so after that what I'm going to do is let's say path, and in the path let's say student info. Okay, so student STUINF. Okay, so this will give me the student info, and what I'm going to call is views dot what is the name of my views function, that's a student detail. So I'll just provide the student detail, and I'll provide the name as STUINF. Okay, so after doing all this thing, let me go to my, let me run the server. Okay, so first of all let me run the server. So what is error over here? Type error form.forms.form car field. There is some error in models.serializer.py. What is error over here? Let me just max field. Not max field, max length. Max length. Okay, so the max length is 50 over here, and the max length is going to be 50 also. Okay, so the next thing is going to be max length is also going to be 100 over here. Okay, so after this I think this will now run. So after that I'll just run the server. So I'll go over here, go to my server, and just write STUINFO. Okay, so if I do this, then I'm getting this in a form of JSON. Okay, this is a JSON format. Okay, so this is a I'm getting a JSON format file. Okay, so now what I want to do is I just want to, from URLs I'll just pass the primary key over here. Okay, so int pk. Okay, so the pk is passed to the views.py student table. So over here what I'm going to take is pk, and over here what I'm going to say is it is equal to pk. So after that whatever I'll pass over here, student info, and I want first student information, then I'll get the David one. Okay, so I need to zoom it, so let me zoom this one. Okay, so let me zoom it. So if I now do 2, okay, so I'll get the data of Josh. If I do 4, then I'll get the student of Mohan. Okay, so similarly I'll get all the data. Okay, so now this is about the student detail. I also want to make the function for student list also. Okay, so for that what I need to do is I'll just copy all this thing. Okay, so I have already explained this thing, so I'll just copy it, and below it I'll just paste it. So in place of student detail, what I'll do is I'll just give it name as student list. Okay, so now this is not grabbing one by one object, but it is grabbing whole. Okay, so in case of whole you need to write it as all. Okay, so in serializer you need to change something. Okay, so over here you need to provide the many as true. Okay, so you need to provide the many is equal to true. So after that this will work. Okay, so but what you need to do is go in your urls.py. okay, so go to your urls.py. so I'll provide the path as just stuinfo only. Okay, so student info, then views dot student list, and the name is going to be stuinfo1. Okay, so after that what I'm going to do is, so there is no comma, I need to put a comma over here. So after this I'll go over here, let's do it over here, stuinfo. Okay, so if I do stuinfo, so it is so we should not pass that pk. Okay, we do not require this one, so I'll just cut it and I'll just refresh it. Now what it will give is, it will give all the data from my database. Okay, so it is giving all the data. Okay, so if anybody wants to use this data, what he will do is he will hit, I'll provide this link to him or her. Okay, So what he'll do is do he will provide this in a request.html. Okay, he will do request and he will get this data, and he or she may do whatever she wants to do with this data. Okay, so I think this much is okay for today. So in the next video I may bring the theory behind this Django REST framework. Okay, so about serializers and all these things that I have used today. Okay, so I may bring that regarding this JSON renderer, all these things I'll bring the video tomorrow. Okay, so have patience and have a nice day, and don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Cheers.